political center of the Muslim world shifted to Damascus and Baghdad, the attention of historians shifted too. As a result, the history of the region and its peoples in the subsequent centuries is obscure. It was not until the beginning of the 19th century that the region again assumed a prominent role in the history of the Arabian Peninsula, when Muhammad Ali, the new ruler of Egypt, invaded Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula had been at the heart of trade routes over many centuries. Ancient civilizations were culture-linked by these routes throughout history. Incense and perfumes were a main commodity for caravans, which had traveled across pre-Islamic kingdoms of the Arabian Peninsula. Al-Aan Palace sets a good example of the traditional architecture in the ancient Najrani region. Due to its nature, the structure was, and still is, exposed to constant diminishing. For this particular reason, the Museums and Antiquities Agency in the Saudi capital of Riyadh is working on preserving rare structures which remain up to this day landmarks reflecting the magnificent heritage of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Though most of the architecture in the region was built to endure the mountainous and wet climate of the Saudi southwest, small differences took effect, as the region's cultural heritage was the mirror of its different social classes, represented in the region's tribes and people. Wood logs were a common element, used in the making of ceilings and rooftops in most of Arabia's architecture. At Al-Aan Palace, wood was used in making doors and windows, since it is the most flexible and easiest to handle in such architectural designs. Designs which, when implemented, never occurred to its people would last for over 100 years. Saudi Arabia has also taken great care in the preservation of the mix between the past and the present. Different buildings in different cities of the kingdom carry the meaning of the old civilization with a modern architecture and technology. Religion and cultural values had molded the region's architectural designs into structures which offered the region's mostly Muslim community the precious privacy they needed. This characteristic is apparent in the choice of size and location of windows, which were usually small and were built into the upper parts of the structure's walls. Taking a closer look, historical landmarks, such as the Al-Aan Castle, provide insight into the more settled way of life in the Arabian Peninsula. Preserving such monuments had been the aim of the Saudi kingdom for decades, taking pride in their cultural heritage and telling untold stories of one of the most amazing lifestyles found in Arabia. Al-Aan Palace is only one of numerous historical structures scattered around the region's hills and mountains. A trip to the history-rich region offers insight into the past of this part of Arabia, which stands at great contrast with most of the peninsula's desert landscape, and most important, the architectural heritage represented by its plentiful historic monuments.